Hey guys, what's up? It's the Fallen Sanctum here, and today I'll be starting a new series called my League of Legends Pro Tips, and we're gonna go over the champion called Hecarim. Now Hecarim's a dreaded shadow. He's a dreaded pony from the Shadow Isles. Very strong top laner. I'll explain his runes and masteries shortly. And also you have to remember that these are my personal preferences when it comes to champion, when playing the champion. Now, let's start off for Hecarim's laning phase. Hecarim has a pretty decent laning phase, although movement speed quints will always give you more damage than not. And to be honest, to justify the fact that they're the best quints on Hecarim just because they give speed and speed gives Hecarim AD, you could justify that giving AD quints on Hecarim is good, but I mean, later on in the game, once you finish your boosts, your movement speed quints are much better. Plus, movement speed is always safe. It's very nice. A bit of armor and magic resist, that's standard. 8.5 AD just to help you last hit. And now we're going to go over the masteries really quickly. It's some 2208. I mainly go this just because, you get CDR on your summoner spells, more trinket range, movement speed. So we're at 6% now. Recall timing and standard 2280. 3 points in Warlord, not necessarily needed. You can take Spell and Blade Weaving to have more damage within your trades and take CDR too. Normally 2109 or 219 is the way to go on Hecarim. You can also go 921. Specking in the defensive tree. It's just the classic thing. I choose Headless Hecarim, and I normally always take Teleport Ignite, unless I'm running Teleport Exhaust or Teleport Smite. In those cases, I'll show you guys sort of like what the core build on Hecarim is supposed to be, and I'll explain really why the items are there. And I'm not going to be able to show you any gameplay of Hecarim, but this is really, just to base yourself if you want to learn to, use the champion, like take him for his strengths. So in your early laning phase, like it's really important to remember this skill mastery because your Q is the most important thing you have in your kit. Your W is a really nice heal if you're hitting things. So, but remember, your W is useless if you're not doing anything. Like if you're sitting by your turret, do not use your W because it's a lot of mana. It's not worth it. Your E, it's smart when you're trying to get back to lane if you use it while going to lane, but so you can get one tick of the fountain heal, so you can keep a lot of you regen a bit of mana, but mainly sorry. E and W are really expensive to use, especially your ultimate. It's a third of your mana bar right now, more than a third of your mana bar. But yeah, your Q. What's important to notice is that if I Q and I hit a monster, then I'll get a stack, and it'll lower the second by 1. So it'll make it a 3-second cooldown, and it can stack up to 2 times. So this can already go on 2-second CD, which is nice. And when you have CD, it can pretty much almost be every second, which is really nice. Now we're gonna go over the builds on Hecarim, and these are why I choose to build these. All right, so we're gonna start off with the Bruiser build. This is the typical LCS Hecarim. You'll always see goes really fucking tanky. 4 tank items after a Trinity with boots, of course. Now I'll start with the boots actually. So yeah, boots of swiftness are the best boots for Hecarim if facing teams that have a lot of slowing based crowd control, not like snares and shit, but also skill shots. Boots of swiftness are god tier versus skill shots. Why? Because you get movement speed. Movement speed allows you to dodge skill shots, and they reduce the effects of slows by 25%. You can even increase that to up to 40%, so that's even better. But to be honest, Mercury Treads are the best boots overall for Hecarim. Why? Because there's always magic damage on the enemy team, and tenacity. It's just such a nice thing to have. It's probably the best thing in the game. Like even. Sometimes I wish on 80 carries, I wish when I played Vayne in that ranked game, I had tenacity, because I would have lived in a lot of cases. Ninja Tabi, it's the simple thing, blocks 10% damage from basic attacks, yada yada yada. You're facing like a triple AP, you go Merc Treads or Swifties, that's it. Alright, so I'll explain each and every item. I won't explain repeat items for a reason. Alright, So the Trinity Force, basically, it's really good. Overall stats are all beneficial to Hecarim, especially the movement speed, 8% movement speed, and this rage passive. So if you hit a minion, you get 20 movement speed. If you kill a minion, you get 60 movement speed. Same thing for ranged champions, except you cut both these bonuses in half. Yeah. So then you have the Randuin's Omen, really good item. Really good mid-game item. When the AD carries aren't building the last wish spirit, it can be a really good rush, but if you really want a good rush, you can go Frozen Heart or Iceborne Gauntlet if you're going tank. Reason why is Hecarim needs a lot of mana in lane. Unless you're like super fucking LCS at, you know, managing your shit, you know, you're gonna need some mana to help you out. Cooldown reduction is always nice on Hecarim, and you should always look to be capped by the end of a game. See, here I'm only running 30%, but it's mainly because I already have 10%, and sometimes I steal blues. So that's really nice. So, the thing about the Trinity Force, it's a really good early game rush. It gives you a huge power spike, especially if you're running TP, because then you can, like, do TP ganks, like, pick up a double kill, whatever, the fucking my home guards, like, fucking rape their face, like, jerk off. It's like, GG, man. Such a strong item. Randuin's really good against AD carries and shitty Zed and Talon players and, like, you know, the crappy top laners that build AD when they're not supposed to. The active is a really good, it's really good. It's like an anti-gank and an engage tool because it's a really good slow. But, you know, like, Cold Steel is quite useless against mages because, you know, it reduces attack speed, you know. Against Lucian, you know, it's other than lowering, like, his shots on his ult, you know, it doesn't do much, because motherfucker's a caster. So, alright, moving on to the next item, the Spirit Visage, probably the best item, best MR item in the game for Hecarim. Why? Mainly because of this effect. It increases self-healing, which if you read, Hecarim is healed for 20% of the damage, from damage these enemies take from any source. So, basically over those 4 seconds, that increased healing can just, like, fucking wreck someone's asshole and, like, make them have a bad day. Also, the Spectre's Cowl is one of the most badass item against mages. If you're up against Rise, you're up against Nidalee, whatever, you know, that is your that brand or whatever. You know, it's a really good item rush, because then you diminish your damage by a lot. Now, onto this. This is a really good item when paired with this. Because, basically, this is physical on-hit slow. That slows 30% and is based off 125% of your base AD. So, that's really nice. But this, yeah, this just kills AD carries. Because, you know, instead of having, you know, instead of when you hit with basic attacks, it slows their attack speed. No, it's when they're around you. So, yeah, you know, Hecarim, you know, always dives in and shit. Always does crap. Has a lot of fun killing people. That's really fun. Warmogs, you know, last tier item. Cap it all off. GA, Warmogs, Righteous Glory, even. Whatever you want to build, man. It's okay. Because this is a good item, you know. If you're not in combat, you get a lot of health back. Now, this is really good. It's an AoE slow. And by AoE slow, I mean, okay, like, you're queued, right? Yeah, then you hit, it's a slow, and then already, like, it'll have been enough time, you can queue again, then proc it again. Like, it's GG. My bad. What else? There's a Thornmail, really good against pure AD team comps. Early on, this item is really useful at the 9 people's lifesteal, because remember, it deals 30% magic damage back to your opponent, but it consumes physical damage first of all. So that's pretty nice. That's Sunfire Cape, good AoE, good way to trade in the early game. Mainly people that have the Bombing Cinder will win a lot of early trades just because of how much health and damage they do. That's pretty good. Warmogs again, you know, really good tank item. So this is the tank Hecarim build. It's not 40% CDR. As you see, I focused more on AD tank. But you could replace the Thornmail with like a Banshee's Veil or a Spirit Visage if needed. To get these gains. The Righteous Glory is really just an engage tool, and as a tank, you know, that's the main thing you're gonna do. So you're gonna dive the backline, you gotta fucking rape them. Oh, I gotta fuck that pussy. Actually, the AD Hecarim, this is like the typical safe AD Hecarim against like APs, and against ADs, you know, you'd have like a Sunfire Cape or whatever. But the YOLO AD Hecarim build is the Yomu's Ghost Blade, the Trinity Force, Static Shiv, Infinity Edge, Warriors Enchantment Swifties. Now that's so juicy, man. That's so much damage. And if we look at Hecarim's, you know, like core stats, like level 1, okay? I don't have any health or anything, but that's pretty nice. I mean, 600 base health really helps you out in the early game. You got a nice amount of 61 base AD, 345 base movement speed, one of the faster champions in the game, 32 MR, 27 armor, you know, standard shit. Right. So anyways, I hope this helps you guys, you know, when it comes to, you know, decision making on Hecarim. And until then, guys, I'll see you around. Take care.